Well, it's a very warm welcome back to a second half independent off-tube studio commentary from the game at the King Power Stadium, where Leicester City lead against Brentford by a goal to nil. The goal coming from a corner from Timothy Castagna, ball whipped in by James Maddison, and Castagna with the header giving Leicester the lead on 33 minutes. Deserved scoreline, you have to say, and Leicester on the attack in the first few seconds of the second half. And what a strike that is from Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, 22 seconds into the second half, and Leicester City double their lead. Nobody closing down Dewsbury-Hall. He pings it beautifully with his left foot, slices it off the post and into the back of the net. Leicester already 2 up.
Well, we didn't even really get a chance to introduce the teams after the first half, but what a finish that is from Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. It's happened a couple of times, hasn't it, in the game? The ball's fallen on the edge of the box. The Brentford players are too slow to react. They're not getting out and putting them under pressure, and it was about time one of them went in. Tielemans had one in the first half that rattled off the post, but this time Dewsbury-Hall wasn't missing from there, was he? He nestled it in the bottom corner, oh so lovely, and David Raya could do absolutely nothing about it.
Absolutely not. It was Ben Mee with a sort of need the ball to Vardy by mistake, as the ball was played down that Leicester right-hand side. It's poor from Ben Mee. Drops to Jamie Vardy, who sets up Dewsbury-Hall, and he hits it first time. It's a great strike from Dewsbury-Hall. It's very poor from Ben Mee, but it take nothing away. Vardy with the presence of mind just to lay it off to his teammate, and it's a superb strike from Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. No chance for David Raya whatsoever. The perfect start for Leicester City in this second half. So just to remind you of the teams, there haven't been any changes. Dan Ward is in goal for Leicester with a back three of Wesley Fofana, Johnny Evans and Daniel Amate. I'll come back to that because Brentford have responded here by getting the ball into the penalty area. Attempted cross there from Mbeumo, deflects out for a corner kick. So I'll just run through the Leicester side quickly if we've got a chance. Dan Ward in goal, back three of Wesley Fofana, Johnny Evans and Daniel Amate. Timothy Castagna and James Juster are the 2 wide men, with the 3 in midfield of Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, Wilfred Ndidi and Yuri Tielemans. James Maddison playing just behind Jamie Vardy. I'll do the Brentford side in just a moment. We'll just see this set piece for the visitors. Going to be a corner kick from the right-hand side, an outswinger from Matthias Jensen, headed up in the air by Daniel Amate. The loose ball drops back to Jensen on the right-hand edge of the box. He plays it back to Rico Henry, who then whips the ball into the penalty area, headed away this time by Ndidi, and he plays a quick ball out towards Vardy, and Leicester City can try and go on the counter. They just slow things down. So the Brentford team, David Raya in goal, a back four of Aaron Hickey, Pontus Jansson, Ben Mee and Rico Henry. 3 in midfield, and Matthias Jensen, Christian Norgard and Vitaly Janelt, with Brian Mbeumo, Johan Visser and Ivan Toney as the attacking 3. It's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz and Harry Jones taking you through the action in this second half. And Harry, it was already a tough job for Brentford at 1-0 down. Now it becomes even more difficult. Yeah,
it's going to be a real uphill task now to get back into this game. It's just it just depends on how much this Brentford side want it. In the first half, they were second to every ball. There was no urgency to put Leicester under pressure. They've got to change something if they want to get back into this game, because now at 2-0 it becomes a much harder task.
It does. Brentford's next game is at home to Manchester United. It's the Saturday evening kickoff for next weekend. And considering that United are now 2 down at home, they were 2 down at home to Brighton at half-time. Potentially they will be playing a wounded animal against Erik ten Hag's team next week, so it will be a difficult task for Brentford. I say it's not all over in this game yet, but based on what we've seen so far in these 48 minutes of this game, it'd be hard to see how Brentford could pull 2 goals back. They've got to try and really step up a few levels here to put Leicester under any kind of pressure. It's a throw to Leicester now down the right-hand side, and it's the first goal scorer, Timothy Castagna, waiting to take it. Camera now focusing on Dewsbury-Hall. It really was a great strike from him inside the first few seconds. It just shows you that even Leicester with potentially some problems, you leave a loose ball like that at the edge of the area, it's going to get punished.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I said, in the first half it happened. There was enough warning signs there for Brentford to know that they need to put this Leicester side under pressure. They can't let them get to that first ball on the edge of the box. They've got the danger men.
Well, here comes Tielemans now as he gets towards the edge of the Brentford penalty area. He strikes it early this time, as it is a comfortable saver for Raya. And he just waits to see where his teammates are. Interesting to see what happens with David Raya as well. Brentford have signed Thomas Szczerbakowicz from Lazio, and he'll certainly be looking to compete with Raya for that first team jersey. There is some worry that Raya may not want to sign a contract extension. Why Brentford, I think, have just been thinking ahead and trying to sign a backup keeper who could potentially step up and be first choice. It was a mistake they definitely made last season by not really having a proper second choice keeper. And then when Raya got injured, The replacement Alvaro Fernandez really wasn't up to the level on loan from Eibar last season. He's gone back to his parent club now. As Ben Mee puts the ball out for a throw, it's Leicester City in possession around about the halfway line now. Indeed, under pressure, but still able to get the ball back towards Johnny Evans. Up now towards Ndidi again. Some space for Castagna down the right-hand side. Closed down there, but still able to keep the ball as Brentford still chasing shadows here in midfield. Leicester looking very comfortable in possession, especially now that they have a 2-goal lead. There's Amate into Ndidi, Dewsbury-Hall. Oh, that pass is just a little bit overhit there for Maddison. And now Brentford have got a chance to get forward. And Hickey streaming forward down the right-hand side if Janelt wants to use him. And Bumo's gone forward there as well. Bumo, though, didn't have any options to go forward, forced to track back now towards the halfway line. And Brentford looking to try and build again here with Matthijs Jensen. Square now towards Rico Henry. Back to Jensen. And Brentford, again, just not really able to push forward in the sort of numbers that Leicester have been able to. But now that's a really good ball down the left-hand channel to pick out Johan Visser. Didn't have any route to goal. Goes back towards Ben Mee down the left-hand side. Now a cross coming in. It's too close to Dan Ward, though, and a comfortable save there for the Leicester keeper. Yeah,
it was once again a little bit too easy for Leicester to defend. Brentford lacking options out wide. Once the ball gets out there, it's almost as if they're not sure what to do with it. The ball goes into the area. It's a hopeful one, just sort of expecting someone to get on the end of it. There's no real structure in moving forward from this Brentford side, who I think we had probably expected a little bit better from them today, but maybe it is just that first game of the season. It takes a little bit of time to settle in. But from what we've seen so far, it doesn't really look like they're going to make any attempt to get back into the game.
Doesn't look like they've got it in them so far. It's still a long way to go. Of course, 52 minutes gone. Independent off-tube studio commentary. Leicester City leading against Brentford by 2-0. Just a quick glance. I think it is still 2-0 to Brighton at Old Trafford. It certainly was the scoreline. Any change there, Harry? Nope, still 2-0 to Brighton. So
yep.
Not the start that Erik ten Hag wanted. Cristiano Ronaldo, by the way, was on the bench for that game. Still interesting to see what happens with him. It seemed at one stage as though he was more likely to leave Old Trafford, but him and his team of agents and managers have had a meeting at the United training ground. It seems that for the time being Ronaldo will be staying. So we'll keep an eye on that game, of course. Any changes there, we will let you know. And just to remind you that just over an hour to go, hour and 20 minutes until we have our next Premier League game on this service. It will be the 4:30 kickoff between West Ham United and Manchester City. And having watched the Community Shield last week with Haaland missing a couple of sitters, there'll be pressure there on the new City frontman to do a bit better this afternoon. But back here at the King Power Stadium, it's a good minute or two of possession for Brentford now, but it's still closer to the centre circle than it is the penalty area for the time being. Not really able to get forward as Mee tries a ball down the left-hand side. That doesn't reach Johan Visser. And played back now towards Danny Ward. Amate with plenty of time. Brentford in that difficult quandary as to whether to press high up to try and win this ball back, which have not been able to do. But if they press too high, then potentially they leave gaps at the back, which is something that Brentford have been susceptible to in the past. That's a really poor ball, though, out from the back there from Marte, giving it away. And now a chance here for Brentford. The ball played towards the edge of the area, and Bumo onto his left foot. He wants to get a curling effort onto it. Doesn't get the curl on it in the end. It's his 23rd birthday today, Brian Mbumo, but so far it's been a pretty flat performance from him, as it has been from most of the Brentford players. He should have done a little bit better there, I think. Yeah,
it was the right idea. You can see what he was trying to do. He was trying to nestle it on that favoured left foot. It seemed like he'd beaten Amate there. He was within every right to go for goal, but just has to wrap his foot around it a bit more. He sort of just snatches at it, doesn't get the whip desired. It just sort of falls flat and goes directly out. But he really got to be hitting the target there.
Should have tested the goalkeeper. That was half a chance for Brentford. Vardy now with the ball for Leicester down the right-hand side. Just overran it slightly. Couldn't keep it in play. And the ball goes out for a throw. Brentford preparing two substitutes there. Looks like Potter Lewis, one of the new signings. Another one of the new signings is getting ready to come on. And wait to see exactly where he will be on the field. Just to let you know very quickly in terms of the two benches today. For Leicester, it is Sionchu, Perez, Mendy, Everson, Iheanacho, Thomas, Albrighton, Daka and Praya. It's a strong bench for Leicester. And for Brentford, it is Lewis Potter, Sorensen, Onyeka, Baptiste, Rasmussen, Dasilva, Stevens, Dervisoglu, and goalkeeper Strakosha. So we'll see Lewis Potter on very soon for Brentford. I think it was Josh Dasilva also having a quick word with Thomas Franks, and wait to see what changes Brentford are thinking of making. Leicester doesn't seem to be any activity on their bench for the time being. I'm not sure that there should be really. They're 11 out on the field, looking pretty accomplished so far. No real problems for them in the 55 minutes we've seen in the game. But it's with Martin now under a bit of pressure there from Vista, still able to find a good ball to pick out Tielemans, and then he feeds it in towards Maddison, who saw Vardy up ahead of him. Pass doesn't quite reach the Leicester City number 9. Norgard then tripped as he tried to turn away from James Maddison, so it will be a free kick to Brentford. Chance just to try and keep the ball momentarily. Let's need to try and develop something here. As Hickey up towards Bumo, but again Leicester leaving plenty of players further up, just restricting what Brentford can do here. And Ben Mee. The other thing is as well that barring that goal in the first few seconds from Leicester, there hasn't been a glut of chances. That may well be just because the game has lost a couple of, has just toned down a bit since Leicester have got a 2-goal lead. But Brentford will be really frustrated at conceding that early goal, because it could have been a very different second half. Yeah,
it could have. It sort of plateaued, like you said, but I think it rightfully so has plateaued. I don't think Leicester really have to push much more now. A 2-goal lead is very comfortable. They can just see the game out from here on in if they want to, but it's all on Brentford to make the difference. But I was just going to mention, it seems as though Leicester just always have an extra man on the pitch. In midfield, it's sort of like Jamie Vardy's dropping in to make it a 4 against 3. He would move forward to make it a 2-on-2 up front. They've got 3 defenders at the back, Leicester, so it's a 3-on-3 at the back. It's almost like they do have like a cheat code. It's like an extra man's always hanging around and can be there, and it's just overrunning Brentford.
It just shows you that how comfortable Leicester are on the ball, and how laboured Brentford are really, that there is always that sort of seemingly man advantage. It's almost as if Leicester can afford to have their defenders step forward or their forwards step back into midfield, whereas Brentford are struggling to get any kind of purchase in midfield really. They're in possession now, but it's still around about the halfway line. Pontus Jansson over towards Vitaly Janelt. Again, Leicester playing quite a high offside line, so it's making it difficult for any kind of long diagonal ball here for the Bees. And Janelt has the ball picked off him there by Dewsbury-Hall. Out for a throw to Brentford down the right-hand side. Hickey sending this one back towards Jansson. Now it's with David Raya over towards the left-hand side. Looking up, trying to pick out a pass. It's a long ball now, looking for Ivan Toney. Tries to take it down for Vissa. It's good work there, though, to try and get that ball back to Ward. Leicester keeper clears it up towards the halfway line. Headed on there by Tielemans. Couldn't keep it in play, though. Out for a throw. We are going to see a double change for Brentford now. And it is going to be Josh Dasilva and keen Lewis Potter to come on. So Matthias Jensen will be going off here for Brentford. Jensen is off to be replaced by Josh Dasilva. Played a big part in Brentford's promotion push before missing most of last season with an injury. And in one of his comeback games, he ended up getting a straight red card against Newcastle early on. But Ben Mee is off to be replaced by keen Lewis Potter, and that isn't going to be a like for like. Lewis Potter certainly isn't going to be playing at centre back, so it's a bit of a tactical change here as well. We may see Janelt drop into defence. That has happened before, where Janelt sort of played as an emergency defender, but it shows that Thomas Frank, with more than half an hour to go, is keen to just spice this game up a little bit.
Yeah, it just shows that he does want to have that intention of moving the ball forward. He's not going to sit back and rest on his laurels and accept defeat, which is nice to see for a manager. You've got, like you said, Janelt can drop into defence. I think Norgard will be there and thereabouts, helping out in a more deeper area, and it just allows Ivan Toney to play off someone up front. Keen Lewis Potter, an exciting prospect from Hull, a record-breaking signing for the Bees. So it'd be interesting to see how he fares in the Premier League after a good season in the Championship. Absolutely, yes. As free kick goes out, Brentford, of course, have got previous in terms of getting players from the Championship and getting them to step up. Of course, Ivan Toney being a good example of that, although he, of course, did have a season with Brentford in the Championship as well. But as we see Vitaly Janelt here, we're just trying to turn away from Tielemans. Tielemans doing his best to kick the ball after he brought down Janelt as if to say he won the ball, but
I don't think that he did. He certainly brought the man down before he got anywhere near the ball there at the Belgian international. And it will be a free kick to Brentford. Close enough to think about a ball into the box, certainly not close enough for a shot. It's far too wide an angle there on that left-hand side, as well as Leicester have their offside line level with the edge of the box. And Brentford with 6-7 players up for this. It's going to be the left foot of Josh Dasilva. Oh, that's not a good ball at all. The referee gets in the way of that, although I'm not sure you can blame Gerard Gillet. It was a strange kind of diagonal ball there from Josh Dasilva.
Yeah, he tried to just play a direct switch to the far side, maybe catch Leicester off guard, but it was a really poor execution of the move there, ricocheting off of Gillet, and they'll have to restart play with a drop ball in favour of Brentford there, as the rules say under the rule book when it strikes a referee. So luckily for Dasilva, he'll get another bite at the cherry, but not from the same sort of angle.
No, not from the same sort of angle, and he won't have anyone waiting 10 yards either, although I think a couple of the Leicester players are still trying to say that maybe they should be trying to go for the ball. I mean, it's been over 2 years now, I think, since the contested drop ball has been completely eradicated from football, and yet you still get players always asking the question about whether they can go for the ball as well. But yeah, from a free kick to Brentford in an attacking position, it's a drop ball which got played back to David Raya. So that's moment of attack really was all it was for the Breeze, and they're trying again now down the left-hand side with Rico Henry back towards Josh Dasilva. Square now to Aaron Hickey, and Mbeumo plays it first time. One for Lewis Potter to chase, but he couldn't get on the end of that one. And it is going to be a throw now to Leicester City down the left-hand side. Just a quick glance, no change at Old Trafford. We're a couple of minutes ahead of that game. They had a little bit more injury time at the end of the first half, but it's still Manchester United 0, Brighton 2. And you can see all the United fan forums and social media accounts going absolutely mad about that one. Not the start that United would have been looking for, but a good ball into the box and a great chance is for Brentford, and Brentford are on the score sheet. A ball is whipped into the penalty area, and a bit of a bouncing ball. Leicester just a little bit slow to react to it. Toney gets the touch and eventually drives that one from close range under Dan Ward, and Brentford are back in it on 62 minutes.
Yeah, what a perfect time to score, isn't it? You've got the substitutions on now, you've got fresh legs, and it just spices the game up, doesn't it? We've got half an hour left to play now. Leicester maybe can't quite sit back and rest on their laurels just as much now with only a 1-goal lead. They're going to have to try and push for a third now, and then this will give Brentford the momentum to go forward and maybe grab a second. It just keeps things interesting, which is great to see. Yeah,
I mean, there's errors aplenty here from Leicester City's point of view. It was their throw at the edge of their own box. A couple of passes later, they lose the ball. I mean, the offside line for Leicester was in about 3 different phases there as well. If Amate had stayed in line with his teammates, Toney would have been offside by about 3 yards then. So the goal was certainly very avoidable from Brendan Rodgers' side from their point of view. But to take nothing away, Toney does well to take it down with the right and then put his laces through it with the left from close range. And Brentford are back into it. And as you mentioned, Harry, just under half an hour to go, probably about half an hour to go if we take the injury time. So still plenty of time for Brentford to make an impact on this game.
Yeah, it was a really good takedown there by Ivan Toney. A really composed finish, but it's awful defending from Daniel Amati. Once you've watched the replay, he's got to be goal side of the man. He's ended up behind Ivan Toney as if Toney ran for an offside position, which is really awful defending.
It's almost schoolyard defending where you've got a forward in front of you, so you've got to stay with him without sort of worrying about the offside there. And it happens at the top level. Players just lose that moment of concentration. It's almost that. It's the same as when we see a deliberate handball blocking a ball in the box. Really, any top defender shouldn't be doing that, but it's that human instinct. Oh, there's a ball going past me, I've got to stop it somehow. And 9 out of 10 times I think most players would regret it, although of course famously Luis Suarez deliberately handballed the ball in a game for Uruguay years ago in a World Cup, and then the resulting penalty was missed and Uruguay ended up going through. So sometimes it can pay off for you, and it would be someone like Suarez that would be the exception to that rule. You could almost bet on that. But here come Brentford now, trying to play out from the back after a move from Leicester which stopped at the edge of the area. Just a bit of a loose ball there between Mbeumo and Lewis Potter. Indeed, he was able to get in the way of that. And now it's with Dewsbury-Hall, plays a quick ball down the left-hand side for Justin. Justin did well to keep that in play, but he couldn't then control it. And he trod on Brian Mbeumo there in the process. The Brentford front man is still hobbling a little bit there on that right-hand side. Leicester are back in possession here, although Amate under pressure doesn't fancy taking on Ivan Toney, so he sends a long ball back towards Danny Ward, who then clears one over the top. No one in a blue Leicester shirt close enough to that one, so it's a comfortable header there. Giving the ball back towards David Raya. And it is Vitaly Janelt who has dropped into that defensive role. I did think that it would be a little bit too open for Brentford to just play with 3 at the back, considering that Hickey and Henry are fullbacks that like to get forward. Just leaving Pontus Jansson on his own, I think, in the middle would have been far too open. So Janelt's been having to play as a bit of a makeshift defender in this game. 65 minutes gone, independent off-tube studio commentary. Leicester City 2, Brentford 1. And the ball now looking for Jamie Vardy. He's expecting a throw there to Leicester. He doesn't get it. I think Brentford were expecting a free kick to go their way, but it is out for a throw to the Bees. Brendan Rodgers there with his coaching staff, including Kolo Toure, of course. Just having a little bit of a discussion. 10 minutes ago, I think they would have been a lot calmer than what they are now, because Brentford had a good little spell, and then they've got to go back as well now. Yeah, certainly. They've got to make sure they eradicate those sort of errors where they just switch off at the back there. Leicester, they've got to be tight, they've got to be in line and regimented, and it was that cost them for the goal. They weren't switched on, they just had that lapse of concentration and judgment, and Brentford punished them, so they've got to eradicate that from the game if they want to hold on. They do, as Dewsbury-Hall now runs straight into Norgard, and the referee does give a free kick there. Christian Norgard's trying to say he didn't know anything about it, but I think it was that close to Gerard Gillet. Don't think the referee could just ignore that one. I think there's probably a little bit of intent there from Norgard as well, not to get out of the way. Yeah, I think he's just. I think he knows what he's doing. He knows the man's there. He's trying to claim he didn't have a clue what was going on. But I think most players would try and argue their innocence when they after conceding a free kick just outside the penalty area. So it was nice movement from Leicester there. Dewsbury-Hall trying to turn away from him, but now they've got a good chance from a set piece. They certainly do. It's Maddison standing over. I don't think he's thinking about a shot. I don't think Brentford are either, because it's only one man in the wall. It's likely to be a ball clipped into the penalty area. It's exactly what Maddison's tried to do. It's headed on. It's off the post. And Raya just about gets on the second ball. It was headed towards goal by Wesley Fofana. It almost seemed to be in slow motion at one point. It just seemed to find Fofana with all those Brentford players. He's level, I would argue. I think that if the goal had been scored, I think VAR might have had a quick look, but Raya only started worrying about it when he realised it was coming off the post. He was never really close to making a save from the initial header. No, it was a really good attempt in the end for Fofana. He was always leaning backwards, couldn't really drive the head fully into it and sort of power it into the net, so he just tried to glance it there and lift it over the top of Raya. It very nearly worked. It looked like it was always moving in towards the goal. Maybe if the goal was ever so slightly to the left there, it would have flown in, because it sort of had a little bit of curve on it somehow off the head of Wesley Fofana, but ricocheted off the post, and Raya did well to scramble it clear. He did, as Brentford back in possession now on the halfway line. Looking up to try and play a long ball was Christian Norgard. Couldn't see any option though. Back towards Pontus Jansson, and now Aaron Hickey down the right-hand side. Hickey back towards Josh Dasilva. Stepping forward now, Vitaly Janelt back into his more familiar midfield role. Visser now leaving this for Vitaly Janelt. Here's Rico Henry, and closed down by 2 Leicester players, having to go back towards Janelt, and again no easy way through for Brentford here. Back now with Pontus Jansson over towards Hickey. He's not been able to get forward at all really in the second half at times, as that ball now played for Mbeumo. He tries to get on the end of it, but combination of Justin getting his body in the way, giving Mbeumo a choice. Either you let the ball go out of play, or you have to foul me, and it's going to go out of play anyway. And in any case, it was always going to be Leicester City's ball. But we're at the 3-quarter mark in this game, coming up to 69 minutes gone. It is Leicester City 2, Brentford 1, and it will be Howard to take us through to full time. Yeah, Brentford with a chance to clear their lines from the goal kick. David Raya. Oh, it's sorry, my man. It's in favour of Leicester, as it was Mbeumo who was trying to put James Justin under pressure. So it'll be Danny Ward to take the goal kick. It goes long and off the head of Brian Mbeumo. He's battling there with James Justin on this near side. Justin will receive the throw in. A couple of blue shirts making themselves known. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, the man to take it first time over the top of the defence, looking for Vardy. Maddison tries to keep it in. Down on the touchline once again, but tight to him was Hickey, who put him under pressure. Hickey takes the throw long.
go over the head of everyone there, and Amati misjudged the bounce, and it's over the top of the Leicester defence. Chased there by Visser, but been caught by the hands of Danny Ward, who will roll it straight out of the defence into the path of Wesley Fofana. No options forward there as Castagna is fairly hugging the touchline all the way up the other end of the field. Fofana with a lack of options there, but they're working down this left-hand side happily as Maddison now moves back in field, finds Ndidi. Ndidi tries the ball out wide, but it was a really poor one cut out there by Visser. It's not the first time Ndidi's been caught out with a poor ball, as now they'll move forward. Brentford as it goes back this time to Pontus Jansson. He finds Hickey down this near side, helped on to Josh Dasilva. Dasilva with a sprinting ball behind the defence there, and Keane Lewis-Potter has a chance to get the ball in the area. Daniel Amati tight to him, just gets his foot in the way. It will go out for a Brentford corner, but a lovely ball from the two recent introductions, Dasilva and Potter, getting on the end of it, but a Brentford corner is all they can muster.
Yeah, well, it's a consolation for Brentford, but again, there's just having that bit more of a spring in their step in possession. Leicester just starting to back off a little bit as well, so this is an encouragement now for the Bees to potentially try and go and look for an equaliser. I can say Manchester United have got a goal back at home to Brighton, but there is a VAR review, so potentially that goal may still be chalked up, but here comes the corner kick for Brentford.
Keep up to date with the results in the other Premier League game as the goals go in, but this time it will be the corner delivered from the left-hand side by Josh Dasilva into the hands of Danny Ward. It was never going to trouble his penalty area. It was commanding there from Ward, the new, well, what seems to be Leicester #1.
Yeah, well, he's got the #1 shirt, and I think that the deadline for registering squad numbers is pretty close to the start of the season, so there still would have been enough time for them to have given Schmeichel the shirt, then he's sold, and then they can give Ward the shirt. So it's not something that potentially was planned weeks ago, but it's still a strange one. We mentioned it at the start of the first half. It's a great chance, though, for Danny Ward. He's slowly become Wales' first choice keeper, despite not being a regular starter for his club. So this will certainly be good news for Wales in terms of his international ambitions, and if he could step up to the mark, it's a great chance for him. But here come Leicester now with a ball down the left, which might just be a little bit too quick there, and although he chased it all the way to the line, not sure he was able to keep it in play. The Leicester players were the Leicester fans there behind the goal were unhappy, feeling that there might have been a foul there, but it looks like Gerard Gile's just given a goal kick to Brentford.
Yeah, I think he saw the ball roll out of play just about on the byline, so it will be a Brentford goal kick. Just ticking over the 71st minute, can confirm the goal did stand there for Manchester United. It was an Alexis McAllister own goal. I think the referee was looking for a potential handball in the build-up, but the goal stands, so it's 2-1 to Brighton, as Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall is the next man to leave the field. He's ticking over the 72nd minute, and it's going to be Patson Daka, the man to replace him. So Leicester adding a little bit more firepower up front.
Absolutely. I like the intent from Brendan Rodgers. His side are 2-1 up at home to Brentford with less than 20 minutes to go, and he takes off a midfielder and replaces him with a striker. It does also mean, of course, that Maddison might be asked to just sit a little bit deeper now as well. Yeah,
Tielemans can sit next to Ndidi to provide that defensive cover. Maddison can now link up with both Daka and Vardy moving forward. It's another change as well for the away side.
Yeah, Brentford making their third change. It's going to be Christian Norgard who goes off, and he's replaced by Shandon Baptiste, who had a few appearances for Brentford last season, scored away at Ellen Road, but he'll certainly be looking to get more time on the field. Just to remind you, I'll be doing this for the first weekend or two, that 5 substitutions are now allowed for every team in the Premier League, sort of getting in line with the rest of UEFA, who'd allowed it pretty much since the pandemic. But here come Brentford now with Visser.
Yeah, Visser has a really good chance here on the edge of the box. He goes for goal there. There was a 3-man overlap down the near side there, but Visser decided to take it on himself. I think it may have taken a deflection, which is the only saving grace there, but a massive chance for Brentford.
Oh, it is. I mean, the Visser can put his hand up to apologise now, but 3 Brentford players, nobody on that channel from Leicester either. And in the end, I don't even think the consolation prize is there. It looks as though Visser has just shanked that without any kind of deflection. Yeah, it was just a goal kick in the end. So not even that meagre consolation there for Visser. That was a poor decision, because last season at times he was good at spreading the play, but on that occasion I think he believed in his own ability too much there.
Yeah, the ball headed down there by Janssen, but it's straight into the feet now of Patson Daka. He's got a chance to go through on goal, and he shanks the ball. I'm not really sure whether that was James Maddison actually that lifted the ball over the top of the defence. It looked like it was a shot because he hit it with some venom, but he just completely mistimed it and it flew out for a goal kick. Just in a replay here as he gets it on the left foot. The first touch gets it away from himself, and then he just throws it out of play.
I think sometimes in that situation, players have made their mind up a few seconds earlier. I'm shooting from this position, and even when they lose their balance and it's not quite right to shoot, it's almost like, well, I've made this decision now, so I'm going to follow through with it. And really, after that first touch and bobble, as you said, Maddison should have known that there's not going to be any kind of clean strike after that, but he still tried to go for it, and in the end, put it out for a goal kick. And here come Brentford now with 15 minutes to go in this game. Leicester still lead 2-1.
Dasilva making inroads inside the Leicester half as he plays a really nice ball into Key Lewis-Potter, who tries to give it back to Dasilva. These two linking up multiple times already this afternoon, and it will go out for a Brentford corner. Johnny Evans doing the safe option and just seeing it out of play, but really good link-up play in between Josh Dasilva and Key Lewis-Potter.
It was good. It was very good. I think that they'll be a little bit disappointed that Lewis Potter will be disappointed that he couldn't get the ball back to Dasilva, just underhit that pass a little bit. But it's a short corner now between Dasilva and Visser.
Yeah, Visser playing the ball into the penalty area. It was actually Dasilva who was the man to deliver the ball. We've just had a view on our screens, an official off-tube studio commentary of the players bustling around in the penalty area as Dasilva picks things back up down the right-hand side. He plays a really nice ball further on for Mbeumo, and Mbeumo delivers the ball into the box. It ricochets off the head of Daniel Martin. It will go out for another Brentford corner. So they're knocking on the door here, the Bees. They haven't really got much time to get a move done. 15 minutes or so of normal time left to play, but if a goal is going to come, it seems like it will be from a red and white shirt.
As it stands now, yeah, I would agree. I think that Brentford have stepped up, just as Leicester have taken their foot off the gas as well. It's not all because Brentford have been so dominant. It's because Leicester, I think, have just been pushed back into their shell a little bit, with Brentford getting that goal for 2-1. But it's Dasilva standing over it now on the right-hand side.
Yeah, Josh Dasilva with a chance to deliver the ball into the box, headed away at the front post, but danger maybe not quite cleared just yet, as it's fallen into the middle towards Rico Henry. Now delivered back into the penalty area. It's going deep towards Pontius. It's gone over his head and picked up now by Visser. It's actually Ivan Toney who manages to keep it in just on the byline. Ball delivered into the area. Can Danny Ward get there? He gets up, and it's a nice catch for the goalkeeper to halt that play. Yes,
it was a good catch from Ward. It wasn't the best ball in, but he had to watch it, especially with the sun potentially getting in his eyes a little bit as well. And that's something that the players will have to think about. We're due to have another heat wave starting across the country. I think it's already quite warm in the south of the country, but it's going to get warm right across the length and breadth of the country over the next week. So next weekend could see perhaps a few pauses as well for the weather. But here come Brentford now with a great chance. A ball whipped in from the right-hand side. It's a diving header there from Ivan Toney. And he'll be disappointed there that he couldn't get that one on target. But again, Leicester, we're all at sea in terms of their marking there.
Yeah, the defending is horrible there. As you just see in the middle of the park there's absolutely nobody for Leicester. There's both, I think, Ivan Toney and Johan Visser just standing with absolutely no blue shirts around them, marking them. Goes towards the back post. Castanha's not picking up his man, and Mbeumo lifts a really nice ball in. Ivan Toney has to be doing better there. He's almost unmarked. Maybe Fofana blocks his view of the ball slightly as it comes over to him, but he's got to hit the target.
He does. I mean, he doesn't even hit the side netting, considering how close he was to goal, and real frustration there for the Brentford front man. But more warning signs for Leicester that if they don't step up, Brentford are still very much in this game.
77 minutes played, 13 or so left as the referee stops play for a Brentford free kick just inside the Leicester half. They take it quickly and catch this Leicester side a little bit off guard here as Baptiste plays the ball forward. Doesn't pick out a teammate now as Jamie Vardy, the man to bring the player to ground. And the referee looked like maybe getting his cards out of his pocket there as Josh Dasilva was brought to ground by Jamie Vardy. I think he may have scathed the yellow card on this occasion, although it certainly seemed like the referee, Gilo, was looking to book Vardy. Nothing more than a free kick though, as he geared to throw a couple of bodies into the penalty area. I think Josh Dasilva once again standing over the free kick. He'll want to provide a little bit of a better delivery than he did from the corner a few minutes ago. A lot of bodies in the area in favour of Brentford. They've got a lot of height now with Pontus Jansson in there, taken off Ben Mee, although he would have added a little bit of an aerial threat. Ivan Toney, we know, can score with his head. Very compact on the edge of the box, and the ball's delivered in, and another poor delivery there from Dasilva. Danny Ward comes out and will claim easily.
He's had all the set pieces since he's come on, Josh Dasilva, but only a couple of them have really proved to be successful in terms of where he's tried to cross the ball. Too many of them are too close to Dan Ward, who quickly bowls it out to Daniel Amate.
Amate now will looked to bomb forward at one moment, but then I think he realised the situation they were in, and probably wouldn't be the smartest idea to throw a centre-back forward, as now Maddison will pick the ball up on this left-hand touchline. He's got James Justin ahead of him. Daka's moving in and out to offer himself up as an option. Goes back in towards Maddison and look to find Tielemans. Tielemans goes back to Ndidi. Ndidi's got Maddison out wide. Will he look to swing a ball into the penalty area? I think he's more focused on taking on his man here as he finds Ndidi. Tielemans now back to Ndidi. They're trying to open up the spaces in this Brentford defence as Amati is forced into going back in field to Ndidi. He's got a little bit of space ahead of him now. Does find Maddison out wide. Maddison back to Ndidi. Nice play here from Leicester as Brentford can't get anywhere near the ball, and Tielemans will look to switch the play over to the right hand side this time. Back in towards the left now and centrally into Ndidi. Flicks it over the foot of Dasilva. Nice play there as Maddison standing up one-on-one against his man. Goes in field to Wilfred Ndidi. Everything seems to be going through him in this passage of play here as Maddison looks like he's about to bite the bullet there, and he does eventually try and dink the ball into the penalty area. It was a cute attempt, but straight into the hands of David Raya.
Yeah, it was one that wasn't quite powerful enough to be a shot, and it was probably a little bit too powerful to be a cross. So it was just in between the two there from Maddison, and Raya able to make the save. But it was important for Leicester to just respond with a little bit of attacking possession after the last few minutes for Brentford.
Yeah, Leicester will happily take a 2-1 victory on the first day of the season with everything going on surrounding the club and the players, with players coming in and out. How much would a win do for their confidence to start the season off?
I mean, it would be, I think, from Leicester's point of view, if they let's say hold on, if they go on to win this game, I think it will be important with all the rumours of players potentially leaving, and what might potentially be happening over the next few weeks for Leicester. I mentioned Brentford's next game was at home to Manchester United. Leicester are away to Arsenal in their next game, and that's one of the 3 p.m. kickoffs next Saturday. They're also away to Chelsea and at home to Manchester United in the next month. So plenty of big games for Brendan Rodgers' side. So as you say, it's even more important that they go on to win this game today, because the next few fixtures could be very difficult. Yeah,
confidence is going to be key for this Leicester side going towards the end of the transfer window, whether they bring any players in or whether they lose any. They'll let the football do the talking on the pitch as Brentford slowly looking to build from the back here as a direct ball goes into Keane Lewis-Botter, but the referee will stop play because I think down on the far side it might be Timothy Castagna has gone down, or
there's a Leicester player down.
It's Wesley Fofana.
It is Fofana. Yeah, we can see now from a close-up picture that it is Wesley Fofana who's hit the deck. Ivan Toney was really wagging his finger there. I'm not quite sure why, because I don't think there was ever a suggestion that he'd committed any kind of foul there, but the referee is going to call Ivan Toney over here just to try and to calm the two players down. I don't think there's any real malice between Toney and Fofana there. Sort of, I suppose if it was a boxing match, they probably would be in the same ring. They're about the sort of same height, same sort of build as well. So it would be a pretty fair fight. But we'll see from this angle what's happened here. As Toney, can't really see there what contact there was, but unless he's just perhaps trodden on Fofana, or potentially just giving him a bit of a low blow, but whatever it was, it didn't seem like there was much in it, but Fofana really went down.
Yeah, it seems as though maybe as he was stepping across Fofana, he maybe caught him on the top of the toe, as there's been another change here. The debutant Aaron Hickey is going off, and he is going to be replaced.
Yeah, Mads Bech Sorensen coming on to replace him. So Sorensen is on, and the other change for Brentford is going to be Halil Dervisoglu, who's going to come on here for Johan Visser. So Dervisoglu, a young Turkish international, who's been at Brentford a few seasons now, has had his trips out on loan, and they're going to give him a chance in the first team this season. So a big opportunity for him as well to try and get involved, as Hickey saw more of him in the first half. Didn't see as much of him in the second half because I think he'd been instructed just to sit a bit deeper.
Yeah, Hickey, as far as debuts go as a young right back, I don't think he really put much of a foot wrong, although a little bit slightly stagnant in the second half, but you couldn't really point him out as a weak point in the Brentford team. So a fairly positive debut. There's good things to take from it, as Dervisoglu has a chance now late on in this game, around 6 or 7 minutes of additional mandatory time. Sorry, left to play, so not long to make an impact, but do everything he can to sway the run of play here, as Ansbek Sorensen tight up against the back of Patson Daka as Leicester have a throw on the far side. It will be Timothy Castagna to take. He's waiting for an option to show themselves as he throws into towards the feet, and then a flick over the top, looking for the run of Daka, but Pontachanto will do everything he can to see this out here. He's forced into clearing the ball away, and it was a little bit nervy defending there as Brentford still haven't been able to clear their lines, but then a really nice move from Rico Henry turns away from the incoming run of Castagna, and he'll just buy his team a free kick.
Yeah, free kick now for Brentford, a chance just to try and slow things down, send that ball forward. Leicester really haven't made too many inroads into the Brentford half since Brentford got their goal to bring the score back to 2-1, and Brentford now pushing forward potentially with half a chance.
Yeah, Dewsbury-Hall on the edge of the box there as an effort from range, but it was blocked at the first line of defence. Leicester will look to play out. Fofana trying to help it on towards the attack, but it will be cut out once again straight into the path of Ivan Toney, and now a shot from range there comes in from, I think, Dewsbury-Hall once again, getting on the end of it, but isn't going to go in that time. And now Josh Dasilva has a chance from the edge of the box. He's still moving with it here. It's a fantastic effort from the edge of the box. It's an absolute cracker there from Josh Dasilva. Just whips it into the top left-hand corner. What a way to get your team back into it.
Superb equaliser from Brentford. It's been coming. They've not had a glut of chances, but in terms of the overall feel of the game and how Brentford have been pushing forward since they got that goal back, things have looked better for the Bees. And now with less than 5 minutes of regulation time on the clock, Brentford have made it 2-2. It's exactly what Leicester were fearing. And, well, Dasilva's crosses, I think we have to say honestly, his crosses have been poor this afternoon, but he makes up for it. He couldn't quite get an assist, so he scores the goal himself.
Yeah, it was a fantastic way to get the side back into it. We said after the last 20 minutes or so, it looks like a red and white team were going to get the second goal, and Leicester going 2-0 up and losing the lead. That'll do everything but good
really,
for the players' confidence.
Leicester players were spectators there for Dasilva. Nobody tries to stop him. He picks the ball up 25, nearly 30 yards out, goes across it in a diagonal angle, sets it onto his left foot, puts a curling effort into the top corner. The Leicester defenders don't move, and neither does the goalkeeper. Everyone just seems to be watching what Dasilva's doing, and Brentford make it 2-2.
Yeah, it's a fantastic strike there from Josh Dasilva. He's really had an impact since coming on. He's looked very positive moving forward. He's always wanted to find that ball in behind the defence, and he's linked up very nicely with the likes of Keane Lewis-Potter and Ivan Toney moving forward, and you can tell what the impact he's had on this side after coming on. Brentford straight back into contention here with only 3 or so minutes of normal time left to play. It's 2-2 at the King Power, and Brendan Rodgers will be infuriated that his side have given up a 2-0 lead.
He will be, because despite anything going on off the pitch, professional footballers at this level need to do more to stop a goal like that being scored. Free kick now for Leicester, a ball played into the penalty area. There's an offside as that ball is headed back into the box. Be good news for Brentford, but it just goes to show that perhaps there is a little bit of an issue with Leicester in terms of their fluidity, in terms of how well they are united as a team, because just the way that Brentford have got those 2 goals, so avoidable from Leicester's point of view. And when you're 2 up at home against a side who really weren't offering too much, Brentford have done well to come back into this game, but you have to say Leicester have allowed them to some extent as well.
Yeah, they have. They made a habit last season of giving up leads and conceding goals and giving up clean sheets when 2 or 3 goals ahead. Defensive worries were the problem for Brendan Rodgers' side last year, and if you think Wesley Fofana does make his big move to Chelsea this summer, their defensive woes could go from bad to worse, as he's really been a rock for them at the back, and to lose him would mean a lot. Alongside Kasper Schmeichel, the captain, you'd think that the defence would be even leakier, and that would be a real cause for concern as now Brentford look to move forward. I think Josh Dasilva was wanting a foul there, but wasn't going to get one, so Leicester will move forward. It's with Daka twisting in and out of a couple of bodies here. He's still moving forward. Daka Vardy almost gets on the end of it. Really good defending out on this right hand side there by Vitaly Janelt, and he does really well to beat Daka to the ball once again. He's moving forward now, Janelt. He's got the likes of moving down on the right hand side. Over on the far side is Visser making a run. He delivers the ball into the box first time, and nobody could get on the end of it. Headed away there by, I think, Timothy Castagna got there. Ivan Toney, and then to flip the ball in. It's Brentford still knocking on the door here, around a minute or so left of normal time. It's still 2-1 at Old Trafford in favour of Brighton, so Graham Potter's side will be all over opening day victory away at Old Trafford. Never an easy ground to go to, and not the start Erik ten Hag wants.
Absolutely, but radio directors who are on phone-ins will be enjoying that scoreline because they'll be getting plenty of calls from Manchester United fans all over the country about that. It's going to be a real talking point. Having not seen the game, of course, we'll have to see the highlights later. But as I say, with all the signings that United have made, with all the fanfare of a new era with Ten Hag, I mean, Brighton aren't the team they were 3 or 4 years ago. They're a much better team now, and I expect them to go to other big grounds this season and cause problems and finish as well as they did last season. So perhaps it's not as big a shock as it would have been a couple of years ago for Brighton to beat United, but it's still a shock on opening day as Brentford go on the attack and Bumo puts the ball in. It's tucked into the back of the net. Now the flag has gone up very early here, so whatever happens, the goal won't stand now. I think that the play had been stopped, and we'll just see from this replay if it was the right decision. Yes, it was. Yeah. It was no doubt at all. And sometimes when you see that flag go up early, you think, well, you might as well wait to see. But on this occasion, we can see he's offside.
Yeah, occasionally we get annoyed at linesmen for not putting the flag up too soon enough when it's an obvious offside. But in that case, you do think it was up a little bit premature. It looked a little bit closer than you may have thought in real time, but after watching in the slow motion, it was clearly offside there from Mbeumo. But Leicester moving forward now as we tick over the 90th minute, just waiting on confirmation of the additional time. We'll have 3 minutes left to play, so around 2.5 minutes left for Leicester to maybe etch into the lead, or Brentford to mount a massive comeback on the opening weekend of the Premier League as the ball's out on the right-hand side. Castagna floats one to the back post. Daniel Amati will take it down. He's got options on the edge here. He will pick out Maddison. Maddison slowly cuts in on the right foot. Can't get the shot away. He still goes for it once again there, James Maddison. It ricochets off the foot of Josh Dasilva, and it will fly out for another Leicester corner on the far side.
Well, now it's Brentford that have to be careful. They've had a very good 20-25 minute spell in this game, but they've worked very hard to just get level. They don't want to now let that lead slip with less than 2 minutes of injury time to play, and we know that the Bees can be quite susceptible from a set piece, and with part of the penalty area in the sunlight and part of it in the shade, it could make it that little bit more difficult to defend here, and it's going to be an outswinger from James Maddison.
Yeah, Maddison with the ball into the penalty area. It's a dangerous one, but it's headed away only as far as Tielemans on the edge of the box. He had a strike from range. It was always drifting outwards. Tried to hit it on the volley. He had to get it through a lot of traffic there, but it will fly straight past David Raya's net.
I think he rushed it a little bit. He had to because he was being closed down, so it wasn't probably the clean and sweet connection with the ball that he wanted there, Youri Tielemans. But it's still, he's always a danger from that sort of position. The initial header found him, and as I say, there were 2 Brentford players on him straight away, and his effort goes wide of the goal. So we've just got a minute of injury time here to play now.
Goal kick in favour of Brentford. I think they'll be happy to take a point considering they were 2 goals down. So a draw on the opening day would be nothing short of a good result. Looking at the situation they were in at half time, they didn't look like scoring at all. Come out in the second half with a much more spirited performance, created a lot more. I think the substitutions helped in their favour as they looked a lot more lively since the likes of Kiernan Potter and Josh Dasilva have entered the fray, as Leicester still trying to move forward here. Maddison goes for a 50-50 header there. Will just about keep possession in favour of his side as the ball goes over the top, looking for the running behind of Patson Daka, and then the ball just bobbling around the penalty area. It's a real scrap on David Raya's goal line, and I think James Justin was a man who got there to clear the ball away, but it was a real mess in and around David Raya's net. We'll just see replay here of Ndidi's ball over the top. Daka went for the overhead kick and it was cleared away.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of a complaint there from Raya that he might have been fouled there by Justin. As I say, there's a bit of a collision there with Daka and Janssen, and then Justin crashing into David Raya. But no malice there. I think I saw Janssen and Justin just giving each other a high five there. It is a throw on to Leicester. We were over the 3 minutes of injury time, so this may well be the last chance of the game here.
Yeah, chance for Daka to launch the ball into the penalty area. It's a really good throw in there, and it's still bobbling around. It's not cleared away just yet. Falling to Maddison on the edge, and a big sliding challenge coming in to stop him in his tracks. And that could be everything we see, and it is going to be everything we're going to see this afternoon on the opening day. It remains all square as Brentford managed to come back with a spirited comeback to hold Leicester 2 goals apiece at the King Power.